Hey folks, it's Phil here from AttackForge. Today I'm going to walk you through how to create attack chains on your RedTeam assessments. But first, let's take a look at a RedTeam project in AttackForge. So first, we're going to start by clicking on test cases to see what was actually done on this RedTeam assessment. Here we can see all the different techniques and procedures that were executed by the red teamers. We can see that a few of those had failed, which means there was some vulnerabilities discovered. If we click through to the first one, we can see a little bit more information about what it actually means and what the red teamers were actually doing. So from here, we're going to click on vulnerabilities to see all the different types of vulnerabilities and findings that were discovered as part of this red team assessment. So now that we can demonstrate what tactics and techniques were being executed on this red team assessment, and we have the results and findings to prove the outcomes of those, we now have enough information to tell a story. And that's where attack chains come into play. So now we're going to look at all the attack chains that the red team has found. We're going to click on attack chains in the menu. So what is an attack chain? Well, put simply, it's an easy way to demonstrate how an adversary was able to achieve an objective. So for red teamers, this can help you tell a story about how you were able to compromise a network without having to write lengthy exec summaries and walls of text, and spend hours writing it into your reports and presentations. So in this first example, we can see how the attacker was able to compromise the domain using a SOE hopping technique. And if we follow the attack chain through, we can see through every step of the way exactly what techniques and procedures the red teamer was performing to ultimately achieve their end goal. You can click on any of the vulnerabilities to see more detailed information about those individual vulnerabilities. You can also click through all the different types of attack chains to see all the key outcomes that were achieved on this red team assessment. So let's go and create an attack chain. So on this project, this one's for a web app pentest. And if we click on vulnerabilities, we can see all the different vulnerabilities that we found. Now what we want to do is link these two vulnerabilities that we discovered into an attack chain. So we can show how we exploited the unrestricted file upload and also chain together the path traversal to ultimately take over the application server. So we're going to start by clicking on attack chains. Now let's click on add. And we can see we have a placeholder attack objective and our first link. Let's go ahead and start making some changes. So for the objective, we want to include as much information as we can that's going to get the customer's attention when they're looking at these attack chains. So in this case, we were able to get control of their web server and use that to attack their internal network. So let's go ahead and put that in for the objective. Next, we want to show where our attack originated from. In this case, we were coming in from the perspective of an external attacker. And we were able to self-register an account on their application. So let's go ahead and include that. Now you can select the MITRE attack framework tactic to also link to your attack chains. And that can be useful to help the customer understand how what you were doing aligns with real-world adversary tactics. So now let's add some more links to the chain. We're going to click on the plus and then select the different type of link that we're going to add. There's a choice of many different types of links. You can have internal, external attackers, victims if you're showing social engineering based attacks, defenders if the blue team's incorporated in the attack, actions which are being performed, vulnerabilities which have been exploited. We can show lateral movement, so we can see how we've moved from a device to a particular server and maybe perhaps to a database, making lateral movement very easy to demonstrate through these attack chains. and ultimately which flags we're capturing or objectives that we're able to reach. So as an attacker, one of the first things we did after self-registering an account on this web application is we're doing our enumeration to try and find vulnerable areas of this application. And as part of that, we were testing the file uploads. And then we found a file upload that was vulnerable to being able to upload a web shop. So let's include that in our attack chain. We're going to add a link for a vulnerability now. And we're going to select the unrestricted upload and add some context to help the customer understand how we use this vulnerability for the purpose of this attack chain. In this case, we're exploiting the upload related to the avatar functionality within the My Profile. Now, unfortunately, we weren't able to trigger the web shell just by uploading it directly. So we had to go back to the application and continue testing, looking for ways to try and access that file and make it execute on the server. And it just so happened that there was a path traversal vulnerability that we were able to exploit. So let's go ahead and link that into this attack chain as well. We're going to select vulnerability, and now we're going to select the path traversal and also add some context to help the client understand how we use that to our advantage. So now we want to show how we were able to compromise the server. So we're going to click on link and select target server. So here we can go ahead and select the BAP portal and add some context to help the customer understand how we were able to take over the server using a combination of these two vulnerabilities. The last step in our attack chain is to show the impact. So we're going to click on flag captured and add some information that's going to help the customer understand what we're able to do now that we achieved our objective on this attack chain. And in this case, we could attack the internal network because of the way this solution was architected. So now that our attack chain is complete, let's go ahead and click save. And now we can see our attack chain from start to end. So now if we want to duplicate this attack chain so we can show a few different similar examples, we can head over to the menu and click on duplicate. Here we can make some changes. And we can also reorder our attack chains. So if we're doing a presentation, we can go through sequentially to tell a story. So now that we've created an attack chain, let's take a look at what it looks like in a report. So now in our report, let's scroll down to the attack chains to see how they look. So here we can see the attack chain, and you can have your own custom images in your template to make the attack chains look the way you want them to look. But now you can see how flexible AttackForge is when it comes to creating attack chains and telling a story, and how easy and powerful it can really be. So as a red teamer or a penetration tester, using attack chains can be a powerful tool in your arsenal. Try giving it a go the next time you run your pen test on AttackForge. You can save yourself a ton of time when it comes to explaining your attacks in your reports. You can also impress your customers with this pretty cool feature. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel for more creative ways to use AttackForge and make your life easy. Until next time.